Good morning, dudes. How we doing this fine evening? So this is not going to be one of my typical videos, and the subject matter does revolve around one game, ultimately. But a few other games will be brought up at some point here in the near future. So I've been playing DayZ since roughly November, December of 2014. And which means it's been just over 8 years. And for a large portion of time, I did not like the way DayZ was being discussed to turn out. But this is roughly when I started, was 0.50. So I remember seeing the AKs for the first time, the firefighter uniform and whatnot, the MP133 shotgun, the waterproof bag. I remember seeing that almost everywhere along the coast. You know, the sledgehammer was another cool tool to use against zombies. And I remember it was some point, I want to say, if I scroll all the way up here, it was sometime around the 0.62 is when I stopped playing. Because they were, they had sped up the zombies just a little bit. I remember them talking about the wildlife and how wolves will be, marching around in packs and whatnot. And so I kind of I stopped playing for a while, and it wasn't until maybe I want to say 2018 or so that my friend Trevor had convinced me to start playing again. And I was keeping DayZ off of my YouTube channel only because I honestly, I sucked at it. I sucked big time. I still do, but I sucked a lot worse than I do now. So this whole scenario, while we're on the subject of DayZ, bringing up Mr. AnarchyHD here, revolves. I don't think it starts with this poor soul here specifically. I know he is a heated subject matter that kind of maybe threw a little bit more gasoline onto the fire, but it kind of all starts with this guy essentially. So in case you're completely unaware of what happened, Anarchy v Sunnyvale. So apparently Anarchy had saw that some of the bans that he had given were lifted and revoked, and he had saw that this kid here, Coco Melon, which is a clear and very evident cheater, his ban had also been revoked as well. Following day, the one admin had said, oh, not only has he been revoked, but he's been whitelisted. And I don't remember if he said that he was being comped or not for being banned. But kind of was a sad situation. At that point, Anarchy had decided, no, I'm just going to leave Sunnyvale because this is clearly not a server I want to be at. I don't want to admin on. I don't want to record on. If you're gonna, revoke my bans, they're for very clear and evident cheaters. Then yeah, I'm not going to continue on here on Sunnyvale. Which brings us up to speed now. January 19th, which is yesterday for me, maybe tomorrow for you. Or I'm sorry, not tomorrow for you. Yesterday for me. Maybe a couple of days ago for you. But in this video, he does talk about a lot about Sunnyvale. So this guy here, Chris, essentially I don't know if it's exactly Chris's fault. I'm not going to say that it was Chris's fault, but he kind of played, dumb. He kind of played stupid. And at this point, when we, scroll through the video, here it is. Maybe back a little bit further. Yeah. All Anarchy has ever tried to do was to catch cheaters and ban them, and do, in some cases, scripted and others non-scripted little adventure videos for us, because I mean, like, it's entertaining, it's fun, especially if DayZ is one of your go-to games and you have more than 500 hours in the game. You like to see, the drug running and the gun running and, being, helicopter salesman and stuff like that, Some of it is RP and some of it is not. But essentially, he's an entertainer. He's trying to be an entertainer here on YouTube. And with, 227,000 subscribers, plus, he's doing a damn good job at it. He really is. And the fact that the admins and owners are working together with the cheaters and whitelisting them on the servers, even unbanning his bans, revoking bans, so they can continue playing and cheating, do yourselves a favor, either buy cheats so you can compete with the actual cheaters they're whitelisting on the server, or just find a new server. And he did, if we scroll forward a little bit further, he does post this here in the game chat. And of course, he gets quite the reception. A lot of people are really angry at Sunnyvale because of what had happened, revoking. It's all based off of the fact that they revoked and unbanned people, and then whitelisted them. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you cannot possibly be serious. That is so unprofessional and does no justice for your own server, just because you want to let some whiny little crying hacker or cheater come to you and go, oh, I think this is bullshit, I think you should unban me, I wasn't cheating, I wasn't, whatever other lies they want to spew to you, and if you want to allow it, then you're definitely not the server for me. You shouldn't be the server for anybody. Of course, Psionic here, Cyanotic, I can never say that name, tries to defend himself and of course his server, because an ex-staff member that cared more about his ego than the inner workings of people above him in the hierarchy. There are some key points to take away. First off, that is extremely egotistical. That is incredibly egotistical. The fact that you think that there is some sort of hierarchy, you guys are working together. Nobody's really getting paid to run the server or anything like that. I mean, unless you want to be a content creator and upload your experiences. The first being, he never once answered a ticket unless it was directly going to provide him with income. We ban more cheaters on a daily basis than he does within a month. You see the ones we let him have for his content. He capitalized off of the community's hard work. You guys don't see the actual amount of work he doesn't do. He bought a house off the content we allowed him to make while we rely on your donations to keep the servers running. That's just a cry for, take this opportunity to go ahead and donate to us. We aren't getting paid by hackers like accused, neither are we in collaborations with them. It really does sound like you're in collaborations with them, but I'll get back to that here in a minute. Second, after reviewing some of his recent bans, all of which were for associations, they did not meet the criteria or amount of investigation required for them to be issued in the first place. We noticed that several bans you were made unaware of. Okay. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around that. I think what he's trying to say is we noticed several bans that were made unaware of, issued with illegitimate evidence, less than 10 kills, single shot weapons, poor assumptions, which Anarchy does at this point make a solid point against this. Because of this, we were approached by a group of people confirming this information. I doubt that. The demands were simple: remove Anarchy and all their abusive staff members, and the attacks would stop. If not, the attacks would ensure until we met the same demise as other large communities. What demise? In order to ensure Sunnyvale's longevity, and an agreement was made. Multiple communities have done this to keep their player base safe. This does not mean we allow hackers or cheaters, so on and so forth. So the very first thing, if we go back to the very top here, he's trying to make some key points, and unfortunately none of them are intelligible or are they valid. The first is he never answered a ticket unless it was directly going to provide him with income. They were not paying Anarchy to be an admin. YouTube pays Anarchy based off of the views. You remember that whole CPM and yada, yada, yada that everybody tried to learn when they joined MCNs and everything like that, like Machinima and so on years ago. You remember that? Yeah, I remember that. So that's how he gets paid, is based off of the CPM. We ban more cheaters on a daily basis than he does within a month. Well, he proved that wrong. You see the ones we let him have for his content. Again, he proved that wrong. He capitalized off of this community's hard work. How? I'm pretty sure he approached you about being an admin, and it's at this point that I would like to make one of my large points here, is that he's a content creator. This is no secret. He's been doing this for just over 10 years, making videos. He's been doing the whole admin thing for the last, I want to say 2 to 3 years, give or take. So it's no secret that he, wants to try to keep, DayZ as friendly as possible in the regards of keeping cheaters and hackers away from the game by banning them. That makes sense, right? He's going to upload his experiences because he's allowed to make money, because he's allowed to. He bought a house off the content we allowed him to make. No, I'm pretty sure it doesn't work that way. I've been making content for, almost 9 years, and I can't buy a house off the content while we rely on your donations to keep the servers running. Again, just a money grab situation, while we were, oh, poor us. Oh, feel so bad for us. Why don't you donate to us? We aren't getting paid by hackers like accused. Neither are we in collaborations with them. So I really feel that, okay, maybe that first portion, that they aren't getting paid like by hackers, like they're being accused of. But I'm pretty sure you're in collaborations with them, because the guy in this screenshot here, well, not really a screenshot, but this moment in the video, Cocomelon, I want to say, was it? It was this video. Okay, I got lost for a second. So the video from January 19th, a little bit later on in the video, I forget exactly where specifically. It's somewhere around this point. Almost like anywhere from like 21 minutes up to like 24 minutes into the video. The Cocomelon guy, this guy here, is, at the time that he was editing this video, was still playing on the servers. So I'm pretty sure that would lead a lot of people to the conclusion that you're in collaborations with them. Maybe not specifically Cocomelon, but other hackers. It's a very good chance that you're in collaborations with them, to some degree. Second, after reviewing some of his recent bans, all of which were for associations, they did not meet the criteria or amount of investigation required for them to be issued in the first place. I see. I'm not an admin, so I cannot tell you what their criterias were. I cannot tell you what their level of different like checkpoints have to be met in order for the investigation to kind of come to a close. But I can tell you from having seen many of crime videos, movies, and even had a few friends be arrested for stupid little things, the police are required to do a certain level of investigation. If at any point to them, whether it's probable cause, given by a reason to give them probable cause, or just a general understanding of how the law works, if a police officer of any variety see you do something, they're allowed to arrest you on the suspicion of whatever it is, right? So basic premise here is, as an admin of a server, you are the law. You are allowed to, okay, well, let me spectate this person because there's been now some allegations. I'm going to spectate this person. Okay, it does seem like they may be playing legitimate, or they may be playing with aimbot or ESP or so on and so forth. But then the next point here is less than 10 kills, single shot weapons, poor assumptions. I believe it was in this video, specifically, at least pertaining to this whole Sunnyvale situation exactly. I don't remember what his KD was, but I do remember that this account, and possibly one or two others that he was playing with, were all created the same day that they were playing. So the accounts are less than 24 hours old. I want to say they were less than 5 hours old, but I cannot remember if that's from this video or from another video. So please, don't hate me if I'm incorrect on this. But single shot weapons. Really hard to see, but I believe if I come back to about here, and if I were to, oh no, not the quality, playback speed, we're going to do this in about 0.75 time. We're just going to go ahead and let this play. Anarchy, please don't take this video down. Kind of hard for me to tell exactly what it is just based off. I know it's suppressed. All right, so it looks like it might be an M110. Let's see. Does he actually check the inventory of this guy? So Brian, Frisbee player, and Coco Melon. Frisbee player just kind of tries to dip out. Yeah, he's going back to the body. Yeah, see, it was an M110. So M110 is, depending on the server, either a one-tap machine or you may have to hit him a couple times, but it also depends on the level of your own armor. If you've got like an Alton on with Juggernaut armor, guess what? It's not a one-tap. It's not a single-shot weapon. Now, one of the last things I want to bring up about what he says here is the fact that, there was, all of a sudden, because of this, we were approached by a group of people confirming this information. The demands were simple: remove Anarchy and all other abusive staff members, and the attacks would stop. If not, the attacks would ensure until we met the same demise as other large communities. So this sounds fabricated to me. And it could be or it could not be. I won't say either way because I simply don't know. But what sounds extremely fabricated here is remove Anarchy and all their abusive staff members. The whole point of admins, again, is to ensure that the player experience is as fluid and as natural as possible. Hackers and cheaters create chaos in that whole element. So it's the job of the admin to be, quote unquote, the judge, jury, and executioner for the server to ensure rather that the player base is overall, it's not always this way, but overall a friendly and a healthy experience, whereas hackers and cheaters bring chaos and cancer. If you kind of catch my meaning there. So I think these whole attacks, yes, it is true, a lot of larger servers did get DDoSed and did bring a lot of chaos, but they for the most part had figured out, okay, well, let's go ahead and physically reset the machines and try to maybe do a rollback or two to a more stable point in the server's life expectancy, or not expectancy, but in the server's life memories, or however they put it exactly. So the whole fact that they basically wanted, at this point, they were upset with Anarchy for what he had done. I don't know if this was just the final straw for them or whatever, but ultimately I think that this was definitely a major breaking point for Sayonara, the owner of Sunnyvale. This is just another point where basically, so Anarchy is asking, what message the new mods and admins received about cheater tickets. When we interviewed players to be mods and then also transitioned them into admin, we were explicit that they were not to touch cheater tickets. They could number them, but not touch them or talk to them. They were only to be addressed by you, and if info was requested, it was also to be asked by admin or senior admin for clarification. No cheaters were handled by staff unless it was an urgent thing, and they were killing several players at a time. And then only were they banned and then handled by you after the fact. So what it sounds like is that, you know, Sunnyvale at this point in time was to basically be the senior admin, is what it sounds like. Now, whether he was or he wasn't, I'm unsure. But you know, the fact that there's a lot of, you know, finger pointing from Cyanide. Yeah, Cyanide. No, not Cyanide. He's a cool dude. But what really bothers me about this whole situation, right, is that so Sunnyvale's accusation that, you know, Anarchy is a toxic admin and, you know, his toxicity flowed to others and whatnot. I wasn't there, so I can't really speak on the whole matter. I can give my opinions, but they are strictly opinions. They're not backed up by evidence or anything to support the idea. But basically, you know, he's doing a lot of finger pointing, and, you know, even if we go over a lot of the other screenshots and whatnot, there's a lot of back and forth between these two. Essentially, a lot of it is by proxy. Even Pickle gets involved at a couple points here, but ultimately, you know, I feel really bad about the whole situation. You know, I really feel that. I just really feel that it's ultimately it's a crappy situation, and I feel really bad because at roughly this point here in the video, roughly about 25 minutes in, the screen does go black for, it felt like forever. That's when I started to realize that when you find a server, or more specifically, when you find a community, regardless of whatever game that you're really into at that point in time, you know, whether it be DayZ, it be Tarkov, it be, you know, you pick any random game here from the store. When you decide that you want to be part of that community and you want to make friends or at least acquaintances, ultimately at the end of the day, you know, you've made a choice to be part of that community. Let me start this. It doesn't make sense. When you decide to finally become part of that community, you've made friends or acquaintances or what have you, you are now part of that community. It's not like, you know, oh, I get to pick and choose or anything like that. And this is when I realized that Anarchy has been playing DayZ for so long. He's been playing it probably even longer than I've been playing it. And one of the biggest betrayals I felt personally about this whole situation was that Anarchy wasn't doing it for the money. He wasn't doing it for the views. He was just trying to entertain people. And when Sunnyvale came down and said, oh no, he's done, we have to let him go, and they were clearly lying about everything, you know, this was a community that felt so much more friendly than most others. For example, you join Rearmed and everybody's aggressive. I mean, they're friendly, but they're aggressive. You joined Sunnyvale and people were willing to help you, and it felt more like an actual home inside of a game than any other server I'd ever played on. And when I decided to leave, I didn't get involved in the drama. I didn't, you know, say, hey, y'all fucked over Anarchy, peace out. I just simply left. And the whole thing that did it in for me was that they tried claiming that their content, that the content was the reason why you were leaving, and that it was your ego that was the problem. And so when I pieced out, I didn't do it violently and told them all to go fuck themselves or anything like that. I just left. And that's a hard thing to do, because some of these people kind of felt like family. And it's a very sad and disappointing thing to do to someone, to just leave, disappear. All right, enough with the sad, moppy bullshit. Let's get back to the real issue here. So ultimately, at the end of the day, I support anarchy. I support anarchy at 110%. I'm in your corner, brother. I really am. And it just doesn't make sense that you put in so much hard work. And like you pointed out here, dealing with tickets, help recruit, deal with the player base, up to the early hours of the morning just so people can get back on their feet. You did so much more than that. You were like a beacon to the community. People, I had been talking to random strangers on the internet here in the game about, oh, have you heard of Anarchy? Yeah, I've heard of Anarchy. Hey man, is Anarchy playing on the server? I don't know if he's playing currently, but you know, I'm sure he'd respond to you. And that's the thing, is that he's become such a beacon, such an icon here in the game. And granted, he only has 227,000 subscribers, which is, let's be honest, 227,000 times more subscribers than I've got. But he is such a great dude. He is so friendly. He is just kind of like Frankie. Just so humble. He doesn't deserve this. He doesn't deserve the negativity. He doesn't deserve being accused of buying a house off of the content that he made on someone's server. Because that, my friends, is called public domain. I don't know, man. I just kind of feel like this whole situation has turned me off to playing the game for just a little while. And it's a shame too, because I really wanted to make another non-scripted adventure video in DayZ. And that'll come. Just not. I was kind of inspired to do this video by this guy here. I'll leave a link to this video down below in the description for you to check out. You know, it's just, I watched this whole thing, and again, I'm definitely in Anarchy's corner. I've made that very crystal clear at this point, I believe. But I just kind of wanted to say, like, this video is what inspired me to do my video. Joker Project here. Go give him a follow if you so desire. He seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders. I don't think he fully understood everything that went down, or maybe he did and just didn't want to comment completely. Either way, the point is that, you know, when it comes to this whole AnarchyHD versus Sunnyvale situation, I only wanted to add my 2 cents because I felt compelled to do so. You know, I have played on Sunnyvale. I played on Sunnyvale 12, 4. I was going to be playing on Pakistan, and I wanted to check out their Banov servers as well. But when all of this went down, it just kind of seemed like a major turnoff to me. It seemed like Sunnyvale valued his own, you know, Psionic's own opinions versus the right thing. And whether he does or he doesn't, that's for him to decide. I don't want to comment any further. I'm afraid that if I continue to comment, that somehow, some way, you'd find out and, you know, potentially DDoS me, as a lot of people pointed out. They've, you know, been threatened to be DDoSed and whatnot. But I kind of feel like they overreacted. Sunnyvale overreacted big time to everything. And I think in the end, it has definitely come to bite them in the ass. A lot of people are siding with Anarchy, and I'm sure a lot of people are siding with Sunnyvale as well. You know, because It's, you know, your community versus a YouTuber who happens to do or did work for Sunnyvale, which is very evident. Me personally, again, I definitely stay with Anarchy on this. I've known Anarchy longer than I've known about Sunnyvale. The whole reason why I went to Sunnyvale was because of Anarchy. So, yeah, I kind of feel like maybe we give it some time and maybe these two can patch things up. I don't think they're ever going to work together anymore, but maybe at least, you know, have a heart-to-heart with each other and be able to have a civil conversation. Who knows? Maybe it actually won't be civil. I don't know. But the whole point is that, you know, it has definitely taught me that sometimes, you know, a place that is willing to give you inspiration, or a place that's willing to give you the opportunity, may not always be the best of situations for you. And maybe you should, you know, really think about what it is that you're doing, or where you're going to go, or how are you going to do things. You know, definitely a large reminder that, you know, sometimes places that seem almost too perfect usually are, and can also be extremely toxic. And that's something that we definitely don't want. We want to try to stay in healthy relationships always, right? Absolutely. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on the whole Anarchy versus Sunnyvale situation. Thanks for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And hopefully I didn't sound too much like Ben Stein this time. And, you know, maybe consider subscribing for future videos. Who knows? I don't know. Whatever. You know, it's all good. Anyway, take care.